Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we discuss gender and development. Basic concept, what is gender and what is development, and what links of the gender and the development. Gender is a complex variable that is a part of social, culture, economic and political context. It is also relevant for the work of civil society movements. Gender refers to socially constructed differences between men and women, whereas sex refers to biological differences between men and women. Being socially constructed, gender differences vary depending on age, marital status, religion, ethnicity, culture, race, class, oblique, caste, and so on. Sexual differences vary little across these variables. Now come to the second slide. Development analysts have recognized now for several decades the need to ensure that gender is examined and integrated into development projects. In integrating gender into development, practitioners are responding to the variety needs of women and men. In being aware of what benefits or adverse effects could impact either. Third slide. Why is gender relevant for development? And taking account of gender development, practitioners and social movement activists are looking at disparities that exist in male and female rights, responsibility, access to and control over resources, and voice at household, community and national level. Men and women often have different priorities, constraints and preferences with respect to development and contribute to and be affected differently by development projects and campaigning intervention. To enhance effectiveness, these considerations must be addressed in all program and campaign design and intervention. If sub-considerations are not addressed thoughtfully and adequately, these interventions can lead not only to inefficient and unsustainable results, may also exacerbate existing inequities. Understanding gender issue can enable projects to take account of these and build in capacity to deal with inequitable impacts and to ensure sustainability. Next, when we talk about gender equality, we are referring to a combination of legal equality and equal opportunities, including opportunity to speak out. More often, this is about making better opportunities in all of these areas for women. Women's rights are protected by many international instruments and laws. The best known is probably the Convention for Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, 1979. A UN treaty adopted by the General Assembly in 1979 and signed initially by 64 states. In July the following year, an optional protocol was later developed setting out a mechanism by which states would be held accountable to the treaty. There have been subsequent international declarations and pledges which have been used as benchmark to measure progress in relation to specific women issues. These include the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action 1995 and the Millennium Development Goal 2001, which include gender consideration in almost half of the clauses. The MDGs have been mutually reinforcing. Progress toward one goal affects progress toward the others. But the third goal addresses gender equality, specifically the successor Sustainable Development Goal due to be adopted in 2015 as part of a broad sustainable development agenda, include achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls as the proposed goal. Historical trends and integrated gender into development. An early approach involved targeting women by project design and intervention, which focus on women as a separate group. This was commonly referred to as WID, Women and Development. Critics of this approach pointed out that this did not address men, and a later model, usually referred to as GAD, Gender and Development, concentrated more on project design and intervention that were focused on a development process that transform gender relation. This aim to enable women to participate on an equal basis with men in determining their common future. The gender equality approach is therefore about men and women and is thus a more comprehensive approach to analysis and design of development intervention because it takes into account the situation and needs of both men and women. It aims to involve both women and men in addressing their development problem, to reform institutions to establish equal rights and opportunity, and to foster economic development which strengthen equal participation. Such an approach aims to redress persistent disparity in access to resources and the ability to speak out. Now come to masculinity. It has also been recognized by specialists and activists in this field that the behavior of men need to be addressed in the context of gender work. Unless men challenge themselves as to the way in which their own behavior, attitudes, and upbringing perpetuates gender's inequality, gender injustice, and gender violence, nothing will change. For more than 2 decades now, a growing number of programs addressing these issues have been developed in various parts of the world, and the learning shared and adapted to new contexts. Among the most well-known have been the programs of PUNTOS, DENCUENTRO, and CANTERA in Nicaragua and its programs on male behavior change. Another example, Stepping Stone, a small group intervention using participatory learning to help improve sexual health, began in Uganda but was adopted for different countries across sub-Saharan Africa, including Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, and Zambia, as well as for the Philippines. Its community training package aimed to encourage community to question and rectify the gender inequality that contribute to HIV, AIDS, gender-based violence, and other issues, and again focus on behavioral change. Gender and social movements. Throughout the globe, people are organizing both to challenge and gender injustice in all areas of our social, economic, political, and cultural level. To be successful, however, these struggles need to include and prioritize gender equality within their own organizational structure, as well as being part of the analysis and methodology for change. This is a deeply political issue at a variety of levels. Although social movements are trying to address this, activists still come up against strong resistance to changing gender politics and practice even within the context of movement and allied organizations. Nevertheless, when it comes to making an impact on transforming gender power relations, social movements are crucial. Integrating gender perspective into social movement and activism is not just about including women or thinking about men and gender minorities. It means considering what a gender politics provide in terms of alternative ways of being. Seeing and doing that in themselves serve to transform patriarchal power relation. Women rights and gender justice issues have been approached in a variety of ways by different social movements, but some common parameters can be outlined with facilitate a supportive environment for gender just movement building. For example, affirming the importance of tackling gender inequality and patriarchal power is an integral component of justice, and naming this as an explicit priority, engaging positively in internal reflection and action on women's rights and gender justice, providing support for women leadership and participation in all aspects of social movement, tackling gender-based violence and harassment, ensuring equal role rank distribution in organization structure, making sure participation is equal, taking account of care for family members, taking account of the fact that women may be targeted in retaliation by those in society who feel threatened by gender justice as a change to traditional roles. Now come to reference. And reference, see the Bridge Gender and Social Movement website in this paper for a comprehensive overview. 2. Evaluation have shown improved self-reported behavior and attitude related to gender-based violence. C. Bott, C. Morrison, A. N. Ellsberg, M. 2005. Preventing and responding to gender-based violence in middle and low-income country, World Bank Policy Research Working Paper 3618. So it was a few point about gender and development, and this is the end.